Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Sessions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning Node.js with MySQL APIs. This is our part number 27. Inside this video session guys, we will see that how can we add static files to our Express package. It means inside our templates. So what basically static file means? Static files means that how can we add about CSS, about JavaScript files, as well as about how can we use images to our templates. Now if I back to folder structure, so right now this is our application. Now inside this application at root we have one folder more, something known as public. Now inside this public folder we have three different folders called CSS, images and JavaScript. So inside this CSS folder we are going to store some CSS files. Those CSS files we will attach to our templates. Also inside this folder we have some images. Now these are the images actually we are going to attach again with our templates. Now inside this JS folder, right now inside this CSS folder and JS folder there are no files, so we will create that. And after creating those files we will see that how can we attach all these three static files called CSS, images and JavaScript to our templates. So if I back to editor, now here we have a public folder and three folders. So firstly let's create about this CSS file first. So inside CSS folder let's say that style.css, and I'm going to write the simple line something, let's say for h3. So this is all about CSS for our h3 tag. Let's say that color equal to blue and something, let's say text decoration something underline. Now these are the two lines of CSS we are going to use with the h3 element. Now back to this file. Now we are going to add this CSS file right here inside this template. So for the common point of understanding what we are going to do, we are going to simply write like let's say link. This is all about link, relation type equal to style sheet, and all we have to pass about inside this href link about the CSS path. So for the simple concept we are going to simply write let's say public, and inside this public folder we have CSS, and inside this CSS we have called style.css file. Now if we save these changes, back to output screen, reload this page, Ctrl U to get the source code, and this is the path of CSS link. So when we click on this file, now we are unable to get our style.css file. So again if I back to editor, now get rid of this public from here, save these changes, again back to our code, reload this page. Now this time we have CSS style.css, click on this link. Now again we are unable to find our style.css file. So how can we attach any static file by means of styles, by means of JavaScript as well as images in our templates? We will see inside this video. So back to editor. Now let's create one more file inside this JavaScript. So let's say script.js. Now inside this script.js file I'm to write some piece of JavaScript codes, that is simple a console.log message. So let's say console.log, and simply let's say that this is simple message I have written inside console. All we have to save this file, back to our template, and let's say that at the footer section I am to include that. So let's say simply script tag, and inside this script tag let's say src. Inside this src we are going to add let's say JavaScript, and inside this JavaScript folder we have called script.js file. Again back to our browser, reload this page, we have one more link at this footer, click on this file. Now again we are unable to get that file. Again, let's include the images first. So here I am to make a image tag, and inside this let's say that src. Now we have called a images folder. We have images folder, and inside this images folder we have called user icon.jpg. So let's say user icon.jpg file, and if I make some style here, so let's say height should be something 200 pixel, or let's say width equal to 200 pixel. Now these are the style properties actually applied for this images or for this image element. All we have included three different sections inside this templates called CSS, called image, as well as script file. But if we back to our source code, or let's say inside this template, we are unable to find about this image as well as style as well as for the script elements. So how can we add these static files properly in our node templates? So if I back to editor, go to server.js file, this is our main module, and inside this I am to actually write, let's say, telling express to use, let's say, static files, and inside this we are going to use called app.use, and inside this simply we need to write called express. This is the object actually here we had defined. So let's say express dot we have called static method. So let's say static, and inside this we are going to pass in the first parameter about the current directory, and in the next let's say public folder. Now this is all about current directory, means our application folder, and in our application folder we have public folder at the root. So we have all done. We have told about express that this is our static directory where we had placed about all the files what we have used in our template. So if we save this file, back to browser, reload this page, now we have some errors, so back to terminal, and here we can check those errors, and according to these errors actually we are unable to load or let's say add our static file path. So back to server.js file, and here we done I think a mistake, and mistake is that in place of comma actually we have to use concatenating symbol, because we are going to add the current directory with our public folder. So again if I back to terminal, now as we can see automatically nodemon has restarted server after looking that all application is now perfect. So back to browser, reload this page, automatically now we are getting all about, as we can see, images here. Also we have get our style link, because styles are now applying. Actually the color is blue and the text decoration is underlined, so CSS get applied to our h3 tag. Now if I open our inspect element, go to console, now also inside this console, so here we have some error, that is dollar is not defined, and it's because that we have used dollar symbol in our script.js, and this is all about we have to include our jquery.mean.js file or jquery.js file. So simply instead of this console.log, let's define a common function, or let's say console.log. This is simple message we are going to output, so going to output at console. So if we save these changes, back to browser, reload this page, now inside this as we can find about, this is a simple message we are going to output at console. Also if we go to the source code, we can find all about the CSS path, all about the images path, as well as all about script.js path. So successfully guys, inside this video we understood about that how can we include properly about static files, and in those static files we had seen that about using CSS, using JavaScript files, as well as using images. So inside this video session guys, if you went out, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.